So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane, it's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it, I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes. Pushing till I fall, I'm slipping to get back
All right, y'all. Happy Saturday, February 21st. How's everybody doing? Get your cold drinks ready, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to ease into this Saturday night. Just maybe quick, unless you have some good questions. Quick recap of the week. Maybe we'll talk about Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Netflix. Talk about box office. We're a little bit past the halfway mark. Any movies that I've seen in the past week? Yes, there have been 3 now in the past 6 days, 4 days that I've seen 3 movies, including one today, probably another one tomorrow. We'll talk about what else. Cinemark had their earnings this past week. We covered that live. I did a recap video for you just in the last hour or two. That is up if you don't want to watch a live stream or listen to a 1-hour call from Cinemark. I went over the highlights for you guys. Check that out. Coming up this week, we have AMC, IMAX, and Marcus Corp all reporting their earnings. And the live streams for those will be here on the channel, so you can participate, add your comments, your thoughts, and we can all hang out and find out the results together. Cinemark, if I recall correctly, was down a little bit on their Q4 numbers, but still profitable. It was a rough year last year for box office. We're expecting this year to be better for everybody once we finish up this damn Q1 that we're in right now, which I think is probably likely to come in somewhere between 2024 and 2025. 2025 being 1.4 billion. In 2024, 1.6 billion. We're at 939 now. We got 5 weeks to go. And not that many good movies left. We have, Scream 7. We've got Project Hail Mary. And we've got Hopper. So we need at least 600 million to get 1.5. And I think I have estimated for those 3 movies around 400 million. That means everything else, all the small little crappy limited release movies, need to pull in for us another 200 million over the next 5 weeks. I think that's doable. Plus the carryovers of the movies that are out right now. But a lot of the good movies that were carrying us in January are trailing off to nothingness right now. So we'll see where we end up. I'd like to see Project Hail Mary or Hoppers or Scream 7 beat my expectations. Any of them, I'd love to see it. And I'm going to keep on doing my part for the industry that I love, the movie industry, supporting the smaller films. And speaking of smaller films, what did I see in the past couple days? Let me pull up my tickets. You already know we saw last week Strangers Chapter 3, Solo Mio, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. And this week it was Dracula. I like Dracula movies. I like horror movies. This I thought was going to be a Dracula horror movie. No, I mean, it wasn't. It was a French Gothic Dracula-centric romance movie, and that was not what I went there for. And I was checking my watch 1 hour in, like, good Lord, I got an hour to go, but I'm going to power through it because I couldn't go anywhere anyways. I had another movie booked right after that. So I suffered through Dracula. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It just wasn't what I went to go watch. Not want to watch a Gothic romance movie. After that, we saw Crime 101 on IMAX at AMC. And that one was much better. Also over a 2-hour movie. I put out reviews on these on Twitter and in the Discord and our movie review channel and on my YouTube community tab. So go read those reviews. Crime 101 I liked. I liked Crime 101. I'd say go see it in Dolby at least if you have one nearby you. Or IMAX if that's easier. And then today, I've been really looking forward to this faith-based film. I know they're not for everybody. I know not everybody believes in God. I do. That's fine. I'm not trying to sell my beliefs on you, but I try and support these movies because even if you don't believe in God, we need more positivity in this world. We need more hope. We need people taking care of people. And I think that these movies remind us to be that type of person. This was not a over the top, in your face religious movie. I can only imagine too. There were a couple of tangential references to God because it's covering the real life story of Bart, his last name, something with the M. Bart Millard. And he's the lead singer of the band Mercy Me, which you guys have probably heard of. They have had one or two big hits over the last 10, 15 years. This was the continuation from the 2018 movie, which covered how he came up with the song, I Can Only Imagine. And now in this movie, he's got a family, he's got kids. One of his kids is really sick with type 1 diabetes, and how they bond as father and son. And if you guys follow the channel, you know my wife and I have a little boy due in 5 weeks. And I have 2 other sons. And so father-son movies are always compelling to me. I saw the Meltdowners were laughing that I reviewed a movie, or that I said I was going to a movie. Look, I like movies. You can make fun of me for going to movies or talking about them. You can make fun of me because you don't believe in God. That's fine to me. I support the industry, and I hope you guys do too. And I try and show my support and share my support by talking about it. And I think that is the right thing to do. Never a incentive or inducement for you to buy a particular stock. I don't own AMC stock, as you know. Haven't since November of 2024. So it's been 15 months now. Yeah, but I do think, depending on what happens with the dilution and the corporate actions and the box office expectations, which I'm bullish on box office for the rest of this year after Q1, there might be a magic moment here soon between, I don't know, here and April, where I finally get to take another long swing trade. We'll see. I have no guarantees. I have no promises. I watch it closely because look what happened in April to June of last year. A hell of an opportunity for outsized gains for those of you who are willing to take on outsized risks. What I don't want to do is come in ahead of corporate actions. I want to come in after them. And we've here on this channel helped predict in advance for you guys at least the last 3 dilution events. And you know that I exit the trade before those. I wasn't even in the trade this time. I like to come in after, because once the company bumps up its cash, you probably don't need to worry about dilution for a few months. And maybe with the extra selling pressure from the company out of the way, you get a little bump in price. And who knows? I mean, I'd take a little bit of Roaring Kitty coming back. I'd take a little bit of MNPI. I'm not counting on any of that stuff. I'm just only looking for a bullish opportunity at a risk level that sits well with me. And that doesn't mean that what I do is right for you. You may be risk balls to the wall and not even care. You're a buy everyday person. Look, you do you. I'm just start your own channel and talk about how you trade. I'm here talking about me and what I see. And if you can find that useful as one more piece of due diligence, then great. And if you don't like it, then just don't watch. Big deal. Tomorrow, the plan, I think, is to go see a really crappy movie. This horror movie, Psycho Killer. Pull this one up. Psycho Killer. I looked on Rotten Tomatoes, and It had 0% approval from critics and 35% from the audience, which sounds like one of the worst that we have seen. Psycho Killer. Did I pass it up? Dang. ES. Earliest release. Anyways, here's a police officer tracks a killer after her husband, a highway patrolman, becomes one of his victims. I mean, the trailer looked okay, but the reviews were horrible. I think this might be a fun movie to have a large frosty mug and go sit down and watch it, just for the lulz. So that is on tap this weekend, maybe tomorrow. I know my wife wants to see Goat. We haven't seen that. And I don't think either one of us really care about Wuthering Heights, so we'll fit it in if we can. I think there's plenty of time to see that one. How to Make a Killing is kind of on our short list if we run out of stuff to see. And pretty much we've seen everything else. Anyhow, let's see what comments you guys got. Box office is at 939. Elwin says, I believe in Roaring Kitty, only he can save my portfolio, right? Hey, cheers to that. We're doing a little Chilada Clamato tonight, a little something different. And it is good. Andre says, thanks, congrats on the baby boy. Thank you, Andre. I see Andre torching somebody. Who we torch him? Maybe I miss it. Live. The torch, Andrew, we usually save when somebody's being really hissy and childish. Chat. See any bad comments? Father-son movies are always a good watch. Yes. Andrew says oil and precious metals will rise with the war. And we're going to get hit with a blizzard in Brooklyn. Wait, it's still cold up there? Holy. So that's where we're at on box office and movies. And what do we have next week? There's something next week. Psycho Killer. We're going to get How to Make a Killing. Scream 7 next weekend. I don't really see much else on here that I want to see. And then we're into March with only a couple movies that I'm really looking forward to. There are a lot I'm looking forward to after April. That's all right, Andrew. He says my torch meant something different. I know. No biggie. It's been a while since we had to torch anybody, Andrew. I put up a tweet this morning. Let's talk about this real quick. You know, last weekend, all of social media was a buzz about Pentwater Capital being long AMC. Now they are bullish mofos because they had a 48 million share position. And I just, look, if you've been following my channel or in my Discord, we've been telling you for a long time, those shares were going to go bye-bye to zero. Well, how do you know that? You're just guessing. I don't just guess. And if I am guessing, I certainly would not say it in public. If I put out an opinion, it's usually a well-researched one based on pretty compelling evidence or historical data that I am almost 90% sure or greater that I will be correct. If I think I'm going to be wrong, I'd rather just shut the F up and not say anything. Just sit back with my popcorn and see what happens. I don't know. But I was almost positive Pentwater was going to report that they had liquidated their position. And sure enough, on the 17th, we got that filing that they did, as expected, if you tune in here. Now, what's going on this week? Since Pentwater isn't available to talk about, all the pumpers, promoters, social media hype men are talking about what? Robert Citrone, Discovery Capital. He's number 2 on my list. And I will tell you the same thing that I tell the Discord every day. Past 8 months. Discovery Capital is not interested in being long AMC. They are a hedge fund. They're a distressed debt lender. They're a lender of exchangeable note money to AMC. They're creating a structured trade where they have almost unlimited upside and very limited downside. And the shares that you're seeing reported for Discovery Capital, the 32 million, are not shares that they bought to go long. They're beneficial shares, which they are reporting because they are about to convert bonds to shares. That's what's on that 13G. And if you saw the report, the interview with Andrew Citrone that's going around on social media this week, he said that exact thing. He said, we don't own any shares. They're beneficial shares due to the convertibles. I've been telling you guys that for months, but nobody wants to believe me because it's not what you want to hear. I get it. It's not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear to understand this trade, to assess your risk, to decide, is it time to enter? Is everybody's so bullish about Pentwater and Discovery? Maybe I should be too. No, these motherfuckers don't know what they're talking about on social media. I am sorry. They're high on their own supply, basically. Discovery Capital, in my humble opinion, will within days, weeks, or at most by the next reporting period, show up with a 0 on their ownership. How do I know that? Go look at July 2025. They reported what, 28, 29 million? The next report, which came out in November for the period ending September 30th, 0. Those were convertible notes from July. They got the shares, they reported them. Everybody starts celebrating, and then 0. Then they got new notes in December after the vote, and they just reported that. And guess what's going to happen next? 0. Because it's a structured trade built on a convertible note with a very sweet deal for them. And as I said, I believe they started shorting the stock well over $2 in December. They're up over 100% on their structured trade. They're going to get those shares and they're going to close the shorts, lock in 100% gain, 80%. Even if I'm wrong on that, right? This is all just my best guess due diligence based on years of watching these things and many tickers, and in particular watching Pentwater and Discovery. Even if I'm wrong that they weren't arb trading the bonds, I don't think I'm wrong on that. But even if I am, they're getting these shares at a steep discount to the current price. And with all the consent fees and other things that AMC's paying them, there is 0 chance they lose money on this trade. Andrew said AMC is, what did he say? It's very undervalued or something like that, right? Look, he's investing money in AMC because he knows AMC's not going bankrupt, right? He's pretty sure anyways. He's willing to spend a few $100 million on bonds because he's pretty sure, but he's also taking care of his company, his profits. It's a structured trade with profitable exit. And of course, he's going to hawk up the stock price because he needs you to buy so he can exit, just like Pentwater did in December. And we just found out about Pentwater February 17th. They were out of their position by December 31st. This is the problem, with DD people like me. You got to wait 6 weeks because our system is so fucked up that we get data updates from 13Gs 6 weeks after the event happens. And that gives the pumpers, the hype men, the people who hate me, the people who hate facts, it gives them 6 weeks to call me names, say I'm being bearish, to question my integrity or my intentions. My intention is very simple: to wait for a correct moment to enter the trade and not get in front of corporate actions or big money lenders who know what the fuck they're doing, who have a structured trade, and who I believe are going to be dumping tens and tens and tens, nearly 100 million shares on us, on top of the companies selling 150 million shares. I don't want to be in front of that. You want to get in front of it? Do your thing. Do your thing. I choose to exercise patience. Andrew says, waiting for an Arab deal with AMC, largest drive-in theater in the world, 4D drone infused movies. That would be cool, Andrew. I'd love to have some good MNPI. Look, I don't think there's going to be any MNPI, but I will tell you right now, that is a complete guess. Your opinion, if you think any one of you have anything to say about MNPI, I have no argument with you. We're all just sharing guesses here, right? I know Adam said we'd hear something in January or February. We got 7 days left. I don't know. I mean, how do I DD that? Adam said something, and we'll find out. I could be right or wrong. I have a feeling that we would have already known something by now. So I'm not expecting anything, but I would love to be wrong on that. And I'm just telling you right now, this is a complete guess. I have no degree of certainty about my feeling. It is only a feeling. It's not due diligence. Anya, how you doing? I see some of y'all debating, is AMC overvalued? I mean, yeah, that's a good question. It's a good debate topic for anyone to have. I've answered this the following way from time to time. Let's see if we can put up a chart. AMC. Daily. The market cap is 600 million. We got to factor in probably, I'm estimating, 100 million shares that Pentwater and Discovery are going to add to the float, and 150 million shares from AMC. Those are at a minimum. I'm expecting the float will be going up by 250 million shares. So if we say 510 plus 250, that's what? 635? Wait, no. Sorry, Michelada's already hitting me. 760, that's why I get the calculator out. 760 million times $1.20. That's a market cap of $900 million. So some of you who are sitting there looking at, oh, the market cap's only 616 million. That's way too low. I would tell you the market cap is probably much higher than what you're seeing if you go ahead right now and factor in what I think you will find out is the increased float over the next couple months. It's being worked in right now, these new shares. We just haven't found out about it yet. Is that overvalued or undervalued? I had a good discussion with someone. Well, my opinion, it's always a good discussion if two people are sharing differing opinions. A lot of people don't appreciate my discussion. Why is he even talking about this stock? Because you posted about it, and I have a different opinion, a different way of viewing things, and perhaps it's good to kind of hash these things out. You challenge me, I'll challenge you, and let's see who's talking fact-based stuff here. Who can back up their viewpoint, or who's just throwing nothing but theories out. My response to the gentleman who said AMC surely is undervalued here is, what do you value it on? He said, well, look at the revenue. Based on the revenue alone, it should be worth hundreds of millions, $1 billion more, easy. It's a prime. Someone would willingly pay much more than the current market cap to buy AMC. Just look, back of the envelope, high level analysis. You got to look at enterprise value. Go back and watch my video from a couple weeks ago talking about EV. And no one cares about revenue. No one cares about revenue when the company has $4 billion in debt, functionally bankrupt balance sheet, meaning there's more liabilities than assets. I know some of them are lease liabilities. I'm just talking basic finance. The balance sheet is upside down. Negative free cash flow and negative net earnings. Like, what do you value the stock on? It's, in my opinion, because I can't run a DCF on it. I can't look at positive earnings and give you a PE ratio to calculate what the stock might be worth in 12 months. I can only say everything's negative. Cash, free cash flow, balance sheet, earnings, everything's negative. What is the price based on? It's based on our hope for the future. Remember we had the beer conversation last week? I said, you got your fair value of any stock that you can defend. You can defend this thesis based on earnings or free cash flow or annual positive EBITDA, something, anything, discounted cash flow. And then you have your speculative value. This fluctuates. Well, the fair value, the beer for AMC, the glass is pretty much damn empty. Everything in the damn cup is foam. And that foam is going to vary depending on sentiment, speculation, hope, until such time that the box office grows, that AMC is free cash flow positive, net income positive. The balance sheet doesn't need to be repaired overnight. The shareholders' equity doesn't need to be repaired overnight. I'd like to see working capital improved, at least. Get enough cash on the balance sheet that we're not having to constantly dilute just to pay the bills. But don't worry so much about the debt. Yeah, it sucks. It's going to be a burden for years. But all these people saying, oh, well, look at the negative shareholder equity and the tangible book value is negative. That doesn't matter. If the company is net income and free cash flow positive, you can work your way out of that. Yeah, it sucks, right? The analysis is still going to be not favorable by Wall Street, but you're not hair on fire bankruptcy risk if you're cash flowing and have positive net income. We need more box office, which is why I will continue to talk to you guys about going to see movies if you're going to do anything. Ellie, howdy. Does that all make sense? I mean, I haven't been reading the comments, so if anything I just said about the valuation and how I view it is confusing to you, let me know. Ask a question. I see people talking about price to sales. Doesn't matter. You can't compare price to sales. That's that damn revenue argument. It's just somebody on YouTube using a different way to talk about revenue. Nobody fucking cares about revenue in valuing a stock that is negative free cash flow, negative net earnings, and has an upside down balance sheet. That is just horrible, misguided, probably accidental because the poor chap doesn't know any better. Bad analysis about valuing a stock. He won't talk about earnings. He won't talk about annual free cash flow. Just look at Q2 to Q4. Understand who is scared to talk to you guys honestly. And then ask yourself, why isn't he talking about annual free cash flow? Why isn't he talking about we can't do an earnings-based valuation? Why is he only talking about price to sales? Because it's the one thing that he can talk about that looks out of whack in relation to other tickers in the segment. It looks out of whack, but there's a reason it's out of whack because of everything that I just said. Everything else is negative. Nobody cares about price to sales that knows what they're talking about. It's a social media narrative because he's stuck. All he can do is hope. Hey, go watch some damn movies. How about that? Quit posting about, fine. Scream 7's coming out. Michael Jackson's coming out. Avengers is coming out. Did you go see 2 movies last week? Then I don't want to hear your opinion if you didn't. Dustin. Sorry about that, Dustin. I missed it. Let me pull it up here. He says, if you are up for it, can you do a future video on G-Bucks, price action, company balance sheet, or text data, share short, etc. I can. Do you really want to know? Because I have covered G-Bucks when the promoters were pumping it. I don't know if I did a video on it. We've definitely talked about it. I mean, it is a complete train wreck. It's a scam. I'm happy to do a quick 5-minute video, but probably death threats will start up anew again. If you want to see it, I'm happy to do it. I'm just telling you, once I put it out there, that it doesn't go away. And nobody's going to like what I have to say. Everyone that's talking about G-Bucks is lying to you about the data. And they're certainly not talking about the piss poor income, the tens or hundreds of millions of debt, the fact that majority of their debt is in default. Did anybody talk to you about this stuff? No, they don't. What do they say? Naked shorts, look at the short volume. It's all a smoke and mirrors game to get you focused on things that don't matter, because the things that matter are one of the worst train wrecks I've ever seen. Dink says, I haven't seen 2 movies in the last decade. That's okay, Dink. Because I know you're a smart trader and you don't jump into anything blind, and you're not out there saying AMC is undervalued based on price to sales ratio. These very particular people that lie to you guys by omission, and it's probably innocent. They're probably very well intentioned. They just don't understand how to value a stock. Those people kind of piss me off right about now, because look what's happened to the stock price in the past 15 months and all the hell we have taken for telling you guys exactly what was going to happen. And pretty much everything that we've been talking about for the last 15 months happened. But I'm the bad guy for predicting it well in advance. I don't get it. Baby UFO says a dozen YouTube channels are still screaming Moass. It's pathetic, bordering criminal. Yeah, I don't get it, baby. I don't get it. They have no shame of being wrong. Look, there's no question that in 2021, along with most of you guys, I thought, well, we did have a good squeeze. And May and June, and I made money on that. And then I gave a little bit of it back after that, thinking that there might be another squeeze. But I'm not dumb, and I don't get locked into one way of analysis, and that never changes for 5 years. When the company starts running out of shares and cash, you better start paying attention to the things that matter, which is the financials, the filings, the debt, the lenders. And so we had to shift what we talk about here because the situation changed. If you can't unemotionally and objectively analyze when things are changing, you're going to be condemned to losing all of your money. There's nothing wrong with changing your opinion or your analysis on something, telling yourself, looking in the mirror, waking up every day, looking in the mirror and saying, don't worry, we're going to win. If that is you, you are lying to yourself because you have not been winning for 5 years in a row. You've been wrong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And not one time in that did you stop and say, maybe my assessment needs to be modified. Maybe I missed something. I do that. If it's not going the way I thought in any ticker, I'm not just talking AMC, I'm going to stop and say, what did I miss? What did I miss? How can I learn from this? How can I take that learning and apply it to future analysis? And if you think I have some magic crystal ball wondering how can he predict everything that's happened in AMC over the last several years, almost to a perfect T, because I stopped, checked myself, dug in, started, what am I missing here? What can I do to improve my analysis? And it all just comes down to letting go of the social media nonsense, reading the filings, reading what the company tells you, not listening to tweets. Read what they tell you in a 10Q, a 10K, an 8K, a 424B. Read. And if you didn't take finance and accounting, I did. I know not all of y'all did. Find somebody who fucking knows what they're talking about, even if you don't like what they're saying, to help you sort through it. Look, my channel would be growing a lot more if I could come here every day and just lie to you and tell you what you want to hear. I'd rather tell you what you need to hear until it changes. If things change, I certainly would prefer to talk about bullish things, but I'd rather tell you what you need to hear and be right than 5 years of being wrong and being positive. What did that get anybody? Nothing. Divorce, losing your house, losing your family, losing your portfolio. It's not helpful to be blindly optimistic. It's harmful. It's hurtful. I don't want that for you. I want you to be a successful trader in whatever ticker. The things we're talking about here, like I told someone today on Twitter, AMC is the best classroom available in learning the ins and outs of distressed debt, speculative companies, distressed companies, how lenders work, what lenders' motivations are, how bonds work. You've got a college level course worth of information thrown at you in the last 4 years, and 90% of people have squandered that. Because what? Someone told them the float's been sold 5 times over, yet presented zero evidence. People have dug in their inability or unwillingness to learn, to question. And it's sad to me because you've literally let a college level course of opportunity of learning that could benefit you in any ticker slip right through your fingers while you tweet at me and say, I'm the bad guy. No, I'm not the bad guy. We have been correct in telling you in advance what's going to happen in a loving way. I don't call people bad names. I don't call them bag holders. I hate all those negative people on Reddit and social media. What college professor who, if you truly want to help someone learn, are you going to call them names? Are you going to belittle them? Are you going to berate them? You going to make fun of them? No. These people, all these negative people don't want you to learn. They just want to feel smug and better than everybody else. I don't want to feel better than you guys. I want genuinely to help you learn this stuff. I'm only got so many years left on this planet. And you can't teach someone by making fun of them. All these people say they're well-intentioned. Well, we just want to help the baggies out. Well, you're already lost right there with your fucking bad language. How about you want to try and teach somebody who perhaps didn't have the fortune to get a college education, didn't have the good luck or the money to go take an accounting or finance class, that genuinely wants to learn, just hasn't been exposed to the right teacher. They're going to, look, any of you that push back on the negativity out there, I totally get it. There's a lot of assholes out there. And to those assholes, I would say, what kind of perverse enjoyment do you get out of making fun of people? You're just as bad as the people you hate, in my opinion. Anyhow, movies, well, I'll update this on Monday where we're at for the quarter. I'm still, like I said at the beginning, I'm predicting somewhere between 1.45 and 1.6 for this quarter. I'd love it to be higher, but I think it'll be in that range, probably close to 1.6. Cinemark, I went through the dashboard in today's video. This is just something I put together. I try and do it for stocks that we regularly cover on the channel. There's one for IMAX. IMAX is mostly green. You compare it to like AMC, which will be updated along with IMAX this week. Coming up, I'll update these. These are from last quarter. Look at AMC. If you want to know why the stock is getting hammered, these are all things that Wall Street looks at, or any analyst. This doesn't mean that the price is correct or not. Bear in mind, this dashboard is to give you a visual slap in the face about risk. No risk, all risk. Almost no risk. The two that I own right now, Marcus Corp. Look at how many green boxes. Cinemark I own. Green boxes. Why do I own them? Because I'm betting against AMC? No, because these were safe trades and we got in on a good entry. I'm up 20% on 21% on Cinemark. How much am I up on CS? These are profitable companies on a low box office. I bought Marcus Corp in October at $13.95. The low is $12.78. So no, I did not get the bottom. For all the damn liars out there, Tony always says he got the absolute bottom. No, I didn't. I paid over $1 more than the lowest price. But even that is up, what, $3 almost? And it will go much higher, I think, over the next few quarters. I mean, it was at $22 at the end of last year. I'm just looking for demand zones, lows on the box office cycle. And this is where my AMC money's parked. My last trade on Marcus Corp, we got in at 11.55 and sold at 22 bucks. Doubled our money in how many months? 5 months, doubled our money. I don't know what to tell you guys. There's plenty of easy ways to make money out there. But you get to decide how much risk you're willing to take or what return. But yeah, AMC could have 5x'd in the last year. That would have been a great trade, right? I only doubled my money, but did AMC 5x? No. Did not. What happens if it starts running, Tony? What happens if Roaring Kitty comes back in the middle of the night and you're going to miss out? Not going to miss out because I have cash sitting in my account. I've got multiple alerts set up on multiple brokers. I'm up every day at 5 a.m. Do not worry about me. I'm not going to miss anything. But it might spike up a couple dollars. I don't care. If it's at $1.20 and I get in at $2.50 and it goes to 11, do you think I care that I got in at $2.50 instead of $1.20? I don't care. Wait, you said it's going to 11? So you're saying there's a chance? I don't know what it's going to do. All I know is I don't want to be in front of corporate actions. But Tony, if everyone thought like you, this stock would go to 0. You're probably correct. Don't worry. Not everyone's going to think like me. No one likes the facts guy. There are, for every one person that listens to me, there are 10,000 that listen to the person saying it's going to $20 next week. You do not need to worry about everyone thinking like me. For those of you who actually want some view on common sense because you don't want to lose money while you're waiting to see if a good entry materializes, well, I'll be here for you. But don't you worry your little selves that everyone is going to copy my trading style and just sit back and wait. No, they're not. We've seen like lemmings over a cliff that nobody is willing to listen to rational discussion. Nobody is. 99% of y'all aren't. Those of you here tonight probably do want to learn. Ellie says AA is very quiet at the moment. They are in a blackout period. I'm not saying, let's not get in the MNPI thing, but once the quarter ends, which was December 31st, technically they can't say much until the earnings are released because he has material non-public information. He has the quarterly results. They know what they are relatively quickly. I mean, CFO and the CEO, they're having weekly meetings about the status of the balance sheet and liquidity and box office forecast and da. They know where the books are going to end up. They can't talk about it. Now, we did get preliminary results what was that now, like 2 weeks ago? Q4 preliminary results. It's going to come in real close to that. So maybe he could say a few things, but I would guess the general legal counsel to him is just keep your mouth shut until earnings, when the official results are out. Baby UFO says, I'm not willing to hold through a 99.5% drop for a 5% rebound. Yeah, I mean, even why would you hold through a 99% drop for a 100% rebound? If it dropped from $5.60 to $1.20, would you be happy if it ran up to $2.40? No, you're still down 50%. But going to be people happy about it. Andrew says, ask yourselves, how did Adam? I think that is a great question, Andrew. Andrew says, Tony, you getting any of that new money for new kids being born? You're talking about the Trump thing. I'm aware of it. I haven't really looked into it. I don't pay attention much to the politics news, but I'm sure once the baby's born, Andrew, we'll look into that. Is his name Andrew? No, his name's not Andrew. We're probably going to name him Colt, C-O-L-T. I was really lobbying hard for another Italian name. My first two sons have Italian names, and every Italian name that I proposed to the wife, she was not a fan of. I was like, all right, well, let's go down a Texas path then. And we went through a lot of different names, and that was one that we both agreed on. That one's kind of stuck. Your question about why did Adam Aaron sell Highcroft right before it ran? I have a couple thoughts, right? And I have no way, this is pure opinion, but I think I can make a case to you that it is a quite probable opinion. I don't have any evidence because there's no filings where they haven't said anything about reasons. Maybe they will on the earnings call. I hope they do. But here's my guess. I'm going to lay it out for you again if you haven't heard this. My guess is we knew that AMC was planning to increase the ATM, right? Those talks started in December, long before they announced it, weeks before they announced it, probably about the time that they sold Highcroft. Those talks were already underway. And I think, number one, AMC needed more liquidity because there's going to be a huge cash burn in Q1. I think the lenders knew AMC needed more liquidity, and I think the lenders likely, I don't have any evidence of this, likely told AMC, we will approve increasing your ATM from 50 to 150 million, but you need to de-risk us a little bit. You need to get a little more liquidity on board. You need to sell some Highcroft. That's your only option to get more liquidity on board. So I think they were strong-armed by the lenders, not because the lenders are trying to torpedo AMC. They're trying to de-risk themselves. And this is also why I'm being very cautious about talking about this new debt restructuring right now for the 2027 debt and the term loan. Because someone tweeted me today, Tony, you don't agree that the AMC could be net profitable once this debt restructuring is done in a couple weeks? Absolutely not. We don't even know if the debt restructuring is going to be favorable. We don't know if the lenders are going to require AMC to bring on board more liquidity. We don't know if they'll agree to better rates or higher rates. We don't know if warrants or more convertible notes are going to be part of the requirement from the lenders to give them a sweetener to induce them to agree to refinance the debt. There's so much we don't know. But the lenders have a lot of power, and it would not surprise me if the lenders made a liquidity demand on AMC as a condition of increasing the ATM amount. That is my only reason that makes sense. Unless you think Adam Aaron is incompetent, which some of you do, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with you. Some of you think he is working with the hedgies. That's fine if you think that. I'm not going to argue with you either. I'm going to present a third option. They were strong-armed by the lenders to bring additional liquidity on board as a condition to increase the ATM. Why do I say that is reasonable? Because I talked to bond traders and I vetted this as a possibility. And they say, absolutely, that could be a possibility. In fact, it wouldn't surprise us one bit if that was what happened. How many bond traders do you talk to? Or are you just retweeting someone who said Adam Aaron's a crook? This is the problem. People retweet anything that hits them in the feels and confirms their bias. I'm out here trying to search for logical answers. I have no idea if you're right or I'm right. But I think there is definitely room for a very reasonable and logical answer that matches up with the timing, the need for cash, and exactly what happened. I would not rule my scenario out. Andrew says strong-armed was right. They knew big people playing right now. Sparky, what's up? He says, cheer, cheer, cheer. Oh, let me put your comment on the screen before I read it. Hopefully it's nothing bad. Cheer, cheer, cheer. AMC talks to its lenders all the time. There was very likely a discussion that they didn't want to see secondary equity holdings versus having cash. See? Now, guys, Sparky is a bond portfolio manager. I know that because I talk to him from time to time. No, he's not out there trading bonds for AMC and GameStop. He has nothing to do with that. But he is a knowledgeable person. And while we simmer on this for a minute, allow me to refill my drink. I just want to say there are a lot of people out there pushing conspiracy narratives. Adam Aaron works for the hedgies. He's trying to bankrupt the company. These people have not talked to one knowledgeable or disassociated person in the last 5 years. They just have an emotional belief that is based in nothing. Adam Aaron's a crook. He did something I didn't like, therefore he's a crook. They don't ever one fucking time stop to think if maybe there's a logical reason if I just thought about it or talked to the right person. Maybe Adam Aaron is a crook. Maybe he is working for the hedgies. I don't know, but I still ask myself, could there be a logical reason? What might it be? Only time will tell us the answer to your questions. I don't think management is incompetent. I don't think they're evil. I think they're struggling every day to keep their head above water in a scenario where box office is not where they need it to be. And they have very limited options, and AMC is not in the driver's seat. They're not in the driver's seat of box office, and they're certainly not in the driver's seat of what's happened with capital. The lenders are in the driver's seat. AMC is like, we need a restructuring. The lender's like, all right, we'll restructure, but it's going to cost you. And AMC will push back and they'll say, well, fuck you. We'll just bankrupt then. No, don't bankrupt. I mean, look, we want to work with you, Adam, but we're going to need to get compensated because now you're asking us to push out the debt from 2027 to 2032. We thought we were going to be made whole by 2027. It's going to cost you, Adam. And what happens? We get fucked with more convertibles, higher interest rates. Because AMC is not in the driver's seat yet until box office improves. That's my rant. I didn't see the answer. Is Dustin still here? Dustin, let me know. Do you really want the DD on G-Bucks? You really want a video on G-Bucks? Andrew says, trading is evil. Embrace, educate, and understand. Yeah, I mean, those are all very good conceptual things to aspire to, Andrew. My thing that I fall back on a lot is understand the motivations of the big players. Like AMC's lenders, everybody assumes they're on our side, us, the retail shareholder. They're not on our side. They're on their side. They're barely on AMC's side. They did a transactional agreement with AMC where they said, we will loan you X amount of money, but you're going to pay for it with X rate. And the worse your credit is, the higher the rate is, because we're going to demand a certain rate for the risk we're taking in your credit rating. And by the way, we want collateral, because if you don't make it, we're going to own this company, not you, Adam Aaron. The lenders are not our friend. They at least, thank God, are willing to work with AMC. Nobody wants company bankrupt, not AMC, not the lenders. The shorts, maybe, right? The evil shorts. But the lenders have $4 billion at risk here. They don't want the company to go bankrupt because they're going to lose a large amount of that money in a restructuring. All right, Dustin, he says, yes, I'm driving and listening. I'm a big boy, and I can handle whatever the honest opinion is. I'll put out a video on G-Bucks tomorrow, Dustin. It won't take long. I will go over their most recent quarterly filing, and I will go over the actual short interest, not the fake short interest that people report. There is no short interest, G-Bucks, so they default to Tom Nash's letter to investors and short volume, anything to avoid talking about real market data that any professional would use. So yeah, I'd be happy to go over that. I'll point out, it's been a while. It's been a few quarters since since it got pushed up in price, but it's come all the way back down now, right? I'll point out the problem areas on the quarterly filing, which is they're bucketized into just a couple things. We can knock that video out real quick. We being me, myself, and I. G-Bucks, Anya, it is a OTC penny stock. GBUX. They have an app where it's like an affinity app. They go create partnerships with businesses in their local area. And if you use your app at that business, you get credits. The easiest way for me to. I think they have, I don't know, some ridiculously low number of customers. They have like 1,000 customers. This thing, guys, ran up to $10. It ran up from 7 cents to 10, 19, 20 bucks in 2022. Then in 2024, it ran from 37 cents to 10 bucks because of pumpers on social media lying to people. I did tweet out about it during this run up, not to be the bearer of bad news, but just to say this thing is not what you think, guys. Take your fucking profits off. Don't be dumb. And now we're back down to 4 cents. I could not find one redeeming thing. In fact, I saw some things in their earnings that were so shockingly bad. I have never seen them before, like being in default of most of their debt. Only because one guy keeps on loaning them money and he keeps on forgiving them for being in default. But they're in default. They have to report it to you. How bad is that, to owe millions of dollars and you couldn't pay them when it was due and you're in legal default? That's pretty bad. And I think their income, you can count it on 5 digits. It's like, unless it went up. I mean, it wasn't even barely, it was under $1 million. I think they had like $11,000 in their balance sheet of cash. It's like ridiculous. Yeah, Anya says Schwab knows nothing about G-Bucks. The brokers are trying to protect you, Anya, because this is a scam. Yeah, the pumpers aren't saying much anymore, Dustin. Yeah, because they got their money and the company got what it needed. It got a pump. I was looking for some telltale things like conversion of debt or issuance of more shares, and I don't recall that I ever saw that. So if that didn't happen, Dustin, I'm really curious, like, what was the point of G-Bucks paying these promoters to push the stock? I don't know. But it'd be fun to go back and look. I'll do that tomorrow. Dustin says there's some analysis in it going back to $1 in the future. I mean, it could. Yeah, the float is small, 23 million. Definitely could go. I mean, look at the past history. These are massive pumps for no reason. Absolutely could go to $1. If you got in at 4 cents and it goes to $1, start taking money off. Maybe it goes to 10, but what if it only goes to $1? Have you some brackets? Don't get greedy. Hayden, what's up? He says, what do you think about what happened? What do you think about IBRX? If it's a pharma, I'm going to unfortunately tell you the same thing that I say on all of these. I'm not a pharma expert. Other than, I'll tell you, I've tried to trade them many times years and years ago, and then I gave up because I don't have the expertise. Maybe you do. Maybe you have a degree in biology or science. Maybe all you do is trade pharma stocks and you understand how all of these things work, the timing, the government trials. I know roughly how they work, but I don't know enough to go in and sort through hundreds of biopharma stocks and pick out a winner. Maybe I could if I dedicated 6 months or a year to just doing that. I'm not willing to do that. So I always tell the folks in the Discord, these are binary trades, in my opinion. Look, if it's a company that's well established, they've got products that they're selling, they've got demonstrable revenue and earnings, that's one thing. I'll trade those. I might even hold them. But these companies that have no revenue, and I don't know, one has no revenue, I can see, because they have no PE ratio. They're binary outcomes based on news or government approvals. And I don't have the expertise to tell you what is the probability that that outcome is likely to happen. I will tell you, everyone on social media and every one of these always says it's guaranteed. You know what I'm talking about, right? All of these companies are guaranteed the moon after just the next phase gets approved. This thing's going to moon. And then what happens? You get that fucking red candle like 90% of the time. You do get the green ones. I mean, I get the temptation. I get it. When the news is good, they can moon. Sometimes even just the FOMO, the news just has to be news. And that, follows like all stocks. It goes up and then comes right back down. But man, if they miss something, these things get wrecked fast. And I just learned the hard way that stick to what you know. So I mostly don't trade them. But there are people you can find out there on social media that do know pharma stocks. Find someone that covers all of them, not only promoting the ticker that you're interested in. If they're only promoting the ticker you're interested in, that is a pumper. That person has no idea what they're talking about, most likely. They might know what they're talking about, but they also could be getting paid. So I don't have any good or bad comments about pharma companies. Most of them have no revenue. I don't know if this is one that has revenue or not. Doesn't really matter to me, because I just, based on my observation of many of these over the years, it's a binary outcome based on the next news. Good luck. Hey, Dustin, were you in IBRX too, Dustin? GameStop-y. I've been buying it since November. Down here in the demand zones. Dink, dink. Sold a little bit in this run up. Did not catch the top. But I took a little profits off, just like I talked to you guys about. That this year I'm going to try and get better about not selling everything in case it keeps running. But when it started turning around here, right here on this candle, started turning around, I was like, I'm going to take some off and let the rest ride. And it went up a little higher, and I didn't sell because I really want to see it go up here into the 30s. I want to see if Ryan Cohen's got some real news. But I do think we had some good discussion in the Discord about GameStop this week. Folks were asking if the chart looks bullish. I just think our chart looks boring. It's right in the middle between the demand zone and the supply zone. Anything could happen. We're right underneath the 50. We're underneath the 200. We're above the 50. Chart settings. That's on the daily. On the hourly, we're above the 200. That's still good. I mostly look at the daily because I'm not trying to day trade or swing trade this. I'm waiting for some Ryan Cohen news. So if it comes back down to $20, I'll probably buy some more. Assuming there's no news, like if it's just boredom. People get bored, they move on, they sell. Price comes down. If it comes back down here, I'll add more. If not, I have my long position and I have warrant. So waiting on Ryan Cohen news. We'll see what happens. No guarantees. Don't copy my trades. I might be a little crazy, but I do size my position to risk. Before you go criticizing me, this is one small position in a portfolio. I am not a only GameStop person. I'm certainly not a believer in you should only own one stock. God damn it. You better have a diversified portfolio of growing revenue, growing earning companies. GameStop does not meet those criteria. It is not growing revenue. It is falling revenue. Therefore, it is a speculative company with a very liquid and solvent balance sheet. And we hope Ryan Cohen does something good, but hope is not a strategy. So I'm not an advocate that your entire portfolio should be in GameStop. You want to do that? That's cool with me. We could still be friends. Don't hate on me for, keeping risk always on top of mind awareness and sizing my position accordingly. I'm not going to hate on your position. Don't hate on mine. OTC stocks. I got a new one that I'm investigating. Meanwhile, Railtown is one that we've been accumulating since December. RLAIF or RAIL if you're in Canada on the CSE. We've been accumulating here in late December to late Jan in the under 30 cent, 23 to 30 cent range. This is a super speculative ticker because it is not revenue, it's pre-revenue. But we are expecting, and I've talked to the CEO and the management teams of this company are competent and not scam artists. They have a history of taking companies and building them up and then selling them. So we're not dealing with known scammers here. We're dealing with known entities. This company should be reporting revenue by middle of this year. So I like it. I'm adding anytime I can under 30 cents. We had a nice little pop on news last week that the two co-founders of BlackBerry invested in this company. Bullish. That sent the price soaring. But, still not revenue. So then, the news and the FOMO wore off and they wore the price back down. And here we are almost to the point where old Tone's going to be buying again, adding to that position, just exercising patience. Every good trade starts with a good entry, guys. Be willing to be patient. Anya says, is my Railtown scaled to risk? Absolutely. It is scaled to risk, Anya. It is scaled to risk, but as you know, Anya, because you talked to me in the Discord, there is risk in Railtown because we don't have a track record of revenue. But we have 3 entities who have done due diligence on this company that give me a higher degree of comfort than maybe just randomly picking an OTC stock. Who are those 3 entities? AIP, AI Partnerships, has well-connected financial people on their board. They agreed to be acquired to merge with Railtown. They did due diligence on each other for 9 months, right? AIP would not have done a deal with Railtown if Railtown was a scam, if Railtown had no window to revenue. Second, TELUS, one of the largest telecommunication companies in Canada who just built an NVIDIA outfitted sovereign AI factory, made Railtown one of their exclusive agentic AI providers in that data factory. TELUS has been doing due diligence on Railtown since before AIP, like a year. And they agreed to partner with Railtown. These people aren't going in blind, these big institutions. Now we have the co-founders of BlackBerry not only investing their own money, but one of them agreeing to be on the board at Railtown. These people are not stupid. They don't lend their name to a company for no reason. I have a high degree of confidence that this 30-cent stock, 30 cents because they are pre-revenue, is going to report revenue through a compute time revenue sharing agreement with TELUS by middle of this year. What that number is going to be revenue-wise, I don't know. But if it's big enough, you can imagine what could happen to the price of a company that goes from no revenue to what? Low, medium, massive revenue? take your pick. Anybody's guess is as good as mine. I'm going to stay conservative. I'm going to manage my risk. I'm not trying to become a millionaire off a 30-cent stock, but I think it's a pretty reasonable bet. I can't guarantee any outcome. Anya says, TELUS is going to use Railtown software. The way it was explained to me, Anya, is like Railtown is the onboarding entry point for software companies into the TELUS factory. I wish I could explain it better than that. And maybe I'll get Corey Brandolini, the CEO of Railtown, to come on and talk to you guys about it more. I did have a chat with him, you guys know, 90 minutes, where he tried to unload as much as my poor little brain could handle to catch me up on any missing gaps I had in understanding their products. But there's only so much he could tell me without, putting me over the wall. He can't give me inside information. So there'll be a time for another conversation, so that it's yet. The True Myth says, what was the first thing that caught your attention about Railtown? What do you think it could go to? The first reason I started paying attention to Railtown is because the people promoting it had a long track record of promoting failed companies. And I try and pay attention to who are the pumpers, because even though they are failed companies, often those stocks have good pumps. It could be a good trade. But I always will cover them fairly to you guys. I'll say, look, here's the risks. If it runs up, make sure you take some profits. Don't listen to their price targets. And that was my very first, as I approached Railtown, oh boy, here we go, another one. But all of my videos on Railtown are still up. You can see my process of how I was analyzing the merger with AIP, and then I started looking at the financials more, and then I started looking at the management teams, and then I looked at AIP and their management teams, and it became clear to me pretty quickly, within a couple weeks, that these weren't fly-by-night people. The only thing I don't have any direct experience in is AI software. Like I had a corporate career in high tech for 15 years, but it was in hardware, not software. The closest I got to ever getting in software, I did become a certified Scrum Master because I was thinking about pivoting into software, but I just ended up retiring before I made that switch. So, that is the area that I'm still trying to catch up on. How does this whole AI piece monetize? You hear a lot, right, out there about AI is not monetizing. When they talk about NVIDIA and all of these other companies. Yes, babe. I'm full. I'm good. Thank you. That one leftover slice we had. Yeah, I'm not hungry. Thank you. We're wrapping up, babe. Love you. So, True Myth, hopefully did I answer your whole question? What was the thing that caught your attention? That is how I came to find Railtown, as a skeptic. And then I quickly became a convert once I started spending a little time getting to know the company, talking to the company. I talked to the company many times directly, many times, as I did my DD. No, I'm not paid by them, nothing like that. I just reached out. They appreciate that I had questions. They appreciate a level-headed, non-hype approach to analyzing their stock and sharing the story. And that's it. I'm sure that we will have many more conversations, as long as they don't let me down. I don't think that they will in terms of execution and revenue, but I can tell you that they are very appreciative of the coverage that I provide on my channel, that there will be, without a doubt, future chat. Anya says, Railtown needs a PR person to explain things to not knowers like me. I get you, Anya. They do. Yeah. Trying, I might try and spend some more time doing that, Anya, after they report revenue. But I don't want to over cover the stock. There's people that will live stream the stock 5 hours a day. I'm like, why? What's really changing? I'm not going to have revenue for a few months, so I think we could chill on the 5-hour daily live streams. But, if it keeps them entertained, then let's. Do I think oil will rally or tank if the U.S. goes to war with them? How you doing, Broke Ape? Anya says, Scarlett, grab some ice cream. Babe, do you have any ice cream left? I bought her ice cream the other day, a little pint of vanilla, Anya, but I think she finished it. All gone? She's been pretty good, Anya, for a pregnancy diet. I said, you've been pretty good on your eating, focusing mostly on high protein stuff. She has some carbs every now and then. What are you heating up now? Garlic cheesy bread. That sounds delicious. Do I have any projections for what Railtown could go to? I do, True Myth. And I just increased my projections. However, doesn't matter what my projections are, because anyone who's giving you a projection right now, whether it's my more conservative projection or other people's fantastical, mythical sounding projections, everybody's just guessing. So I'm going to keep those close to the vest because I don't want to promote a stock with a projection that is based on, like I said before, when we were talking about AMC, if I have an opinion that I am reasonably sure is going to be correct, I will share it with you. Otherwise, I'm going to remain silent, because most of the time, these people that are flapping their gums are going to be wildly incorrect, and they have no shame about being incorrect. I don't like being wrong. So if I don't know, I'm just not going to say anything other than I believe this company is going to report revenue by the middle of this year. That is my true belief. And the outcome of what happens to price, whether it goes to 60 cents, $1, $5, $10, is going to be directly dependent on what they report and what guidance they give. They haven't reported anything. They haven't guided anything. So I have no basis to share any guess with you. I have no defendable thesis. And anybody who says they do is kidding themselves, and they're kidding you. And I think it is potentially very dangerous. It might make you overcommit to a risky trade. I hope this works out for all of us. And look, I think if you got in at 30 cents, you're probably going to be okay no matter what. These people that are telling you it's going to $55 and it doesn't, and then what? It ramps up to, pick a number. 5, 10, pick a number. I don't know what it's going to, but ramps up and then it slowly bleeds back down. And people are going to be mad. Why didn't it go to 55 like you promised us? These people are guessing. Maybe they'll be right. I don't know. Have no fucking clue. Any guesses I've shared with my Discord have been very conservative because we don't like losing money. Cancel Bubble says, let's see the belly. I might have one picture I can show you on my phone. I know she's not going to come get on the camera. I only shared this with Anya. There you go. Happy? Five weeks, ladies and gentlemen, if he comes on time. Anya says, and the people predicting Railtown don't have much of a success rate. That is true also, Anya. Dustin says, Tony, write down 80 Mile. It's an OTC company I heard randomly mention. Titanium mine, not mining it in Greenland with future U.S. government contract. 80. Where'd my pen go? All right. 80 Mile. All right, I'm going to leave this here for manana when I come back to catch up on G-Bucks. Yes, cancel bubble. She is about to pop. She went from barely looking pregnant to looking like she's ready to pop just in the past week or two. I said, babe, remember when we were going to the doctor's office like 7 months ago, and we looked at those people and said, man, she looks like she's about ready to pop. Well, you're one of them now. Thank you, Broke Ape. Andrew says she reminds me of Lana from Superman. I'm sure she would appreciate that, Andrew. True Myth says, so it's going to 55. Yeah. Some people on YouTube, True Myth, say that it's going to 55. That is not my DD. They said, here was their DD. By May 5th, 5/5, it will be at $55. Now, if that's a defendable thesis for you, then, hey, maybe he'll be right. That's not the way I work on my channel. I don't just pick a date or pick a price I need to see a stock go to make up my losses on all my other trades that I've talked with you about for the past 4 years. I don't back into a price. If only Railtown got to $55, all the hundreds of thousands I lost in the last 4 years will be broke even. That's how some of these guys do out there. I don't do it that way. I don't. I look for a good entry, try and have reasonable thesis, and then we cross our fingers that the company executes, and it'll be what it'll be. Maybe we'll be steak dinner happy. Maybe we'll be vacation happy. Maybe some of y'all will be retirement happy, but I ain't promising shit because what do I know? Nothing's been communicated yet. I don't think we're going to be unhappy. I don't think it's going to zero. I know there's a lot of bears. They mostly bug the pumpers because the pumpers aren't doing due diligence and grounded in a world of reality. They're putting out ridiculous price targets based on no data from the company. I understand why a bear would go pick on that, but we don't do that here. I just lay out to you why I bought it, why I'm trying to get it cheap, and I think the management is reasonable, and they've partnered with some very respected, legitimate entities, and that doesn't come for nothing. This is not a scam, fly-by-night company. We're in the wind a little bit. We're swinging it. It's a gamble. Make sure you get it. I mean, understand what I'm saying. There's no guarantees. But I think it's a pretty good gamble. I hope so. It'd be a fun one to talk about later this year. All right. Since the wife is up and at 'em again, and we've been going here for what? 1.5 hours? 9:35. We're going to go ahead and call it. I'll get another video out for Dustin. Thank you for the super chat on G-Bucks tomorrow. That won't take too much time. I'll look at 80 Mile. maybe we'll do another live stream tomorrow night. Probably will. If you guys are watching this on replay, if you have any questions about, we covered a lot of ground on a lot of important stuff tonight, especially AMC in the beginning of this. I know some of y'all are going to have your feelings hurt or feel challenged or some sort of way because I'm telling you things that no one else is telling you. Look, I'm happy to answer your questions. I'm a normal retail trader, just like you. Nobody pays me. I do sit here full time every day because I'm retired. Had my corporate career. If you know someone who pays to cover stocks, let me know. I'll be happy to do it. I will disclose it as required by law. Right now, I'm just like you guys with a lot of free time and a very strong interest in learning and teaching and providing for my family through the best trading we can do. I believe you should have a diversified portfolio of companies with growing revenue and growing earnings. And I think it is also fine to speculate in some stocks if you know how to manage risk. And I know I keep on promising I'm going to put out these videos on managing risk, sizing your trades. That is very... I've already filmed the video once or twice, and I'm like, no. I don't script these things out. I walk through them in my head sometimes for days. Like, what am I trying to convey here? How can I help people? How can I convey this in a way that is relatable and meaningful and hopeful? I'm getting close talking about this risk management. It's not rocket science. It's not any earth-shattering information that no one else has talked about ever. It's something that no one in the retail space for the last 5 years that I've heard of has talked about. In fact, if I even mention diversification or managing risk, what do they say? Oh, he works for the shorts. Some really bad characters out there who don't want you guys to get informed on how to make good decisions. That makes me angry, and we're not going to just let them do that. Not going to let them do that. I'm going to keep talking about diversification. I'm going to keep talking about sizing your position according to the risk. And I will provide you tools to understand exactly what I'm saying and why. So those are some things you can look forward to learning about if you're not already familiar with it. I'll provide you some reading material as backup when I provide those videos. And I hope you guys get inspired to learn. Social media is killing you right now. Have a good night. We'll see you mañana.
And to the right, up, and to the right, up, and to the right.
Hello, millionaires. Short screenplays, where fortune flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roots to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Reddit warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? Up and to the right. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It stops on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, my ass is in sight. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It stops on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, more asses in sight. Hedge funds trembling, Kenny's in shock. GameStop stock, it'll never stop. From top can't be done, but the retail army we've already won. With every share we'll never stop. Investors say we love the stock. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It stops on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night, together we'll soar. Up and to the right. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right.
Surprise!
We're gonna win.